Hey everybody, it's Burton's Middle Class Review. Greater Brisbane region, Queensland, Australia has just been locked down a couple of days ago, supposedly for COVID stuff. I'm outside of Brisbane, been doing a bit of shooting and camping. Feral pest control. But got to save a little possum out of a tree, so that was a lovely touching moment for me. Yeah, so here we are. I'm just going to reflect back now on the last 20 years, 2001 to 2021. All I can say was 2 decades of absolute BS. And I mean that with great sincerity. I'm going to go back to September 11, 2001. Remember they had those jet planes supposedly get past all that security. You know, it's only like about, less than 20 kilometres to a big Air Force base. Where New York City is, you think jets would have been up there and knocking those planes out. For some reason they didn't. And then those buildings fell down, Twin Towers fell down, and they fell down like a perfect demolition. Amazing. And then we were told it was terrorists and we had a war on terror. How'd that go? Well, when Barack Obama got into power, they had $8 trillion worth of debt. He kept that war on terror going. Remember, he was the opposite of Bush, he said. Remember him? Remember that amateur who had absolutely no experience gets in as president? He was going to shut down Guantanamo Bay. And remember that big rock concert, Rock Against Bush, because no one liked him going into debt and warmongering because they went into Iraq and there were no weapons of mass destruction, even though they said there were. 500,000 Iraqis, civilians were killed, at least. No weapons of mass destruction. And then Barack Obama went in and he was just like George W. Bush on steroids. So he sent the debt from just over $8 trillion to $19.5 trillion, and then once Trump got in, there was another $2 trillion worth of spending already locked in. Biggest arms salesman the world had ever seen. He was talking about gun control all the time, but he was dropping weapons in, even Chinese-made AK-47s into Syria, bombing Libya, bombing Afghanistan, bombing Iraq. Did they bomb Yemen too? Oh, that's right, he did. His first drone strike was in Yemen. Killed a bloke over there, and then his son, the son of this fella he killed in Yemen, complained. He was killed a week or two later by a drone strike. Last year, Barack Obama was in, you know, this hope and change guy. He's all about peace, you know, he was a good guy. He spoke real nice and played basketball. Yeah, what did he do? Last year he was in 26,000 drone strikes. Still fighting undeclared wars. His own administration admitted 90% of the drone strikes killed civilians. 90% of deaths of drone strikes were civilian deaths. How's that war on terror going? And of course Australia went in. What have we got to show for that? Record veteran deaths. Nobody declared war. Well, that's alright, veterans, you know, if you got half a dozen veterans killing themselves every couple of weeks, that's not many. They're only mostly white working class guys anyway. We've got plenty of them in Australia. Elites don't care about them. Government politicians don't care about them. Not many anyway. So do you feel any safer, Australia, in the last 20 years since September 11? Now we've got a big prison now, a Supermax prison in New South Wales that only has Islamist terrorists in there. Most will never ever see the outside of that jail again. Do you feel safer? Do you think it's been worth it? Not declaring wars? And veterans killing themselves? And the media, yeah, just ignoring that one. How about all this borrowed money we got now? The federal government owes $1 trillion. That's 1,000 times $1,000 million. Money we'll never be able to pay back. How about the $100 billion that my state government owes? Queensland state government. My local council owes $400 million the last time I checked. How's it feel to be working up till lunchtime on the day of your funeral to pay for that debt? How does it feel to tell your children, because selfish people keep saying they want the government to do more, which means spend more of my income tax. See, I actually pay income tax. You notice these people who always say, oh, our government needs to do more about climate change. ever notice those people? They don't pay any income tax. I personally know people posting stuff on Facebook all the time saying we need to do more and Greta Thunberg's so wonderful. They don't pay income tax, they don't work a job. They don't pay for this stuff. Like someone like Barack Obama I was talking about, saying that we've got to do more about climate change, really. If he's so concerned about rising waters, how come he lives in a massive seafront mansion, 18.5 inches above sea level? Like, wouldn't he want to be further away from there, just in case those waters do rise like he's saying it will? Same as our former Prime Minister, Malcolm Turnbull, he said the same thing. He lives on a nice waterfront place, nice big mansion on Sydney Harbour. Wouldn't he be worried about rising waters? How about Kevin Rudd? He's another bloke who was like that, eh? Our former Prime Minister, Kevin Rudd, he's very concerned about climate change. He just bought another mansion, waterfront one at Noosa. Wouldn't he be concerned about rising waters? No. Wouldn't the bank stop lending money to people to buy properties like that if the water was going to rise and flood them? It'd be too much of a risk, wouldn't it? Yeah, there's another BS example from the last 20 years. How about our younger generation now? Look at the issues they've been marching about. They've been marching about climate change. It's nice, a lot of them even want to vote Green now. There's a bloke called Michael Burton. I was very happy. He, last state election, he went on TV to say, you know, people are really concerned about issues. Concerned about issues. But which issues? And he said the number one thing, he said people are telling me they want to share in the mining wealth of this state. Hang on a minute, hang on, he's the Greens guy, right? Wouldn't the people who voted him be more concerned about the environment, stopping litter, pollution? No, he said it was sharing in the mining wealth. Well, if you want to share in the mining wealth, you can do what I did for a bit. I drove a coal truck in a mine. I was doing like 12.5-hour shifts. Half of them were night shift. A place called Moranbah. Like, you ever thought of going up to one of those places, if you want to share in the wealth, go work in one of those bloody mines and do those long hours and be away from your family? You could try that. We already share in the wealth of this mining stuff, because without the mining money, I think coal to Queensland's worth over 40 billion a year. Without that money, our economy would collapse. Interesting. He didn't mention pollution and all that stuff, or litter. No, it was sharing and mining wealth. So at least he was honest. It's nice to see a Greens politician actually be honest about what they really care about. Just got to follow the money to find the real answer, really. So there's another example of BS from the last 20 years. The Greens actually care about the environment. What other issues did our young people march for? Black Lives Matter in Australia. They're saying, oh, deaths in custody, Aboriginal deaths in custody. Yeah, you know 70% of Indigenous Australians are in there for domestic violence, for either murdering, raping or beating up their family members. And they're complaining that those people are in jail. You know, I reckon if you beat up your missus or rape your kids or, you know, murder your wife, I think you belong in jail. I don't know, I mean, maybe I'm just a bit old-fashioned, but, you know, if I beat up my missus or smash my kids in the face or rape someone in my family, I think I should go to jail. But that's just me. Tell me if I'm wrong. Oh, we have other, you know, other little Gen Y issues we had in the last 10 years. What else we had? Gender pay gaps and all this stuff. Yeah, right. It's funny, last time I checked, you know, school teachers got paid the same money, women and men, all that. Mechanics, you get paid depending how good you are. I'll say to my kids, people, I have a daughter and a son, I'll say, if you want to make more money, have a skill, provide a skill or a service that is actually in demand. And if you want to get paid even more, do a dangerous job. I know a bricklayer was making 200 grand a year. But he was busting his guts. It's hard work. He was working 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. I know guys in the mines who work underground, they might make $130,000 to $150,000 a year. They're doing 12-hour shifts, underground, very dangerous, dirty work, and they're away from their families a lot. So work hard and provide a skill or product or service that's in demand, and you'll get good money. If you don't want to do dirty, dangerous work, then expect to get paid less. If you don't want to get injured, that's fine. Nobody's stopping you from doing jobs like becoming a mechanic, a bricklayer, a plumber, a miner. No one's stopping you. If you want to do that and make more money, go right ahead. There's no patriarchy holding you back. So what can I say? The last 20 years, the worst thing is all this government interventionism and all this printing money and borrowing money. So we're going to be working up till lunchtime of the day of their funeral to pay for these taxes, and unfortunately I think we're going to see more of the same. Because the baby boomers, there's a lot of you out there, be honest with yourselves. Are you going to vote for politicians that have policies that actually believe in personal responsibility, paying off debt, not spending money that we don't have? Like, do you really, or do you want to keep your pension and your benefits? Be honest. I think there's a lot of baby boomers who will vote for a living, and they're the biggest generation. They will keep voting for a living. They don't give a rat's about my generation or my children who'll be working and working, who actually pay income tax. And same goes for these people who want our government to do more about climate change and subsidise these big foreign national companies to build solar panels and stuff whilst not providing reliable power. They don't pay income tax. I know plenty of people who support Greta Thunberg and stuff like that. They don't pay income tax. They'll post it on social media going, oh, look at me, we need to do more about climate change. Well, you get a job, pay tax, and you pay for it. Or put some damn solar panels on your own house first before you demand that my taxes pay for this stuff. I've got solar panels on my house. I've already done my bit. Even though I know that in 2030, according to a government study in Australia, they reckon by 2030 there'll be 1,500 megatons of solar panel waste that they cannot recycle that will be dumped in Australia. Where's that gonna go? Yeah, really environmentally friendly, that. But people, I think we just gotta get, all I'm gonna do is get more educated every day, focus on my financial education, keep buying assets that provide a passive income, build my own business on the side, as well as my job, having a job that has a skill that's in demand. That's about the only thing you can do to try and preserve something that resembles a middle class in Australia. Teach your kids to do the same, and unfortunately people, the system's rigged because we have a centrally controlled economy. We do not have free market capitalism anymore. It's dead. Free market capitalism is dead, and if people say that our government stimulating the economy is capitalism, that's a goddamn lie. That's central controlled economy, and that's communism. All they do is manipulate the economy. It's just welfare for the rich, as I call it, because all the money goes in the stock market and the real estate market. Because with low interest rates, you're not going to put your money in the bank. We've destroyed the savings mentality, and unfortunately people vote for these donkeys who do this stuff. And people say, oh, but you've got to look after people. Governments look after people. No, they do not look after people. The only role of government should be to protect your rights. So for instance, they provide a service like the police force. If somebody's trying to break into your house and steal your goods or rape your family, the police are there to protect your rights from someone infringing upon your rights. That's the main role of government. That's it. Not to borrow money and stimulate certain industries or subsidise industries. That's not their role. The free market should be allowed to do that. But anyway, that's just my opinion. So people keep getting financially educated. How do you get this education? Well, get on YouTube. At least some things aren't completely censored yet. They've censored the President of the United States of America. You can't even post something on Facebook saying like, we need to call for calm and stop violence and stuff like he did recently. He's been banned. Can you believe it? But I watch things on YouTube like Kitco News, Stansbury Research, anything with Robert Kiyosaki. He wrote the Rich Dad Poor Dad books. He owns 7,000 apartments, 4 hotels, and a lot of gold and silver. He owns no shares. Cooper Academy Investing's a good one. That's an Aussie one. If you're looking at investing and stuff, it just shows you what the rich people do. Geez, there's a lot on there that I look at. For actual news from the United States, I'm interested in the US, seeing what's going on, because it's the biggest economy in the world. So the Ben Shapiro show, my favourite Orthodox Jew, Ben Shapiro, it's always good to look at. Ones like that. So get educated, people, be responsible, follow your own path if you can. As a libertarian, I think it's the best way to go. If you've got personal responsibility, look after yourself and your family. That's how you make society better, not by saying that government needs to do more. That just leads to tyranny, as we are seeing right before our eyes. Anyway, all the best to you. Stay awesome.